Do you feel like the vision you set for yourself is feeling a bit fucking stale? The vision that you set 6 months ago, or the vision that you set 5 years ago when you started out on your entrepreneurial journey, is it feeling a bit off? Is it feeling a bit stale? Does it feel like you don't want to get out of fucking bed anymore for it? Well, this is when you need this podcast episode. Hi, it's Angharad Sage, and you are listening to the Your Galactic Guide podcast. I see this all of the fucking time with entrepreneurs. And I just want you to know that your problems are not unique. I feel like I'm going to say that to you a lot on this podcast. Your problems are not unique. And that is very comforting for someone like you and I who are very driven and who see blocks as a pain in the fucking ass and something that we don't want to be a victim to, you know? Like when we are not wanting to play that victim game, when someone says to us, your problem is not unique, we go, oh, that's amazing. It's not some big deep dark web of some fucking curse from 5 lifetimes ago, or the thing that I brought into this current timeline that I have to overcome and nobody else. I'm the only person who could ever bear this burden and I don't know how I'm ever going to do it. How am I ever? Like, it's just too individualized. And while we are all individual, while we all are unique, your problems are not. And I know this from being a mentor for 6 years now for entrepreneurs in a professional capacity. And I can say this with 100% confidence that you are not alone. Your problems are not unique and you aren't so special that you're the only one who could ever have this problem. Okay, bitch? The reason why your vision is feeling stale is because you haven't allowed it to evolve. Because the version of you that set that vision 2 years ago or 6 months ago doesn't exist anymore. You are a completely different person. You became a different person on the journey, and that is meant to happen. But you need to not hold on to old identities of yourself and how those versions of you would have judged or would have made decisions or would have set their vision or set their 2025 goals, for instance, the new year ahead goals. Because they are very limited in their wisdom. They are very limited in their capacity. They're very limited in their lived experience because they are an old version of you. It's like a software, right? It's like software. I turned on my old Mac from fucking years ago that I've had in storage for years. And how many times did I have to update the bitch before she wanted to run GarageBand to record this exact fucking podcast? A lot of fucking times, because her system and her algorithms and all of the things that make all of the beautiful things happen, the ones and the zeros, were not up to date with the current times, with the current software for the GarageBand. And it's the exact same fucking thing for you. Where you are sitting at right now, anytime something feels stale or stagnant or yucky or frustrating or angry or just like, why the fuck am I stuck? If you feel caged, that is a sign that you need to reevaluate and allow yourself to evolve from this version of you right now, not from the old version of you. Because while she was a bad batch, okay, and while she got you to where you are today, you are doing her a disservice if you let her limited point of view and her limited fears and her blocks and her perceptions run the show now. You have been lined up for expansion since the beginning of fucking time. In the last 2 years, and especially in the last 6 months, you have become an entirely different person. The waiting, the trials, the situations, the relationships, the difficulties, the challenges, the celebrations, the expansions, the people that you have met and worked with and have worked for you and you've hired or you've fired or you've traveled with, or the retreats you've done, all of these layers every single time are like exfoliating a new layer of our skin. The new skin is then coming through because we exfoliated all the dead stuff that's just sucking up all the moisture and stealing the show when it needs to be exfoliated off. We all understand skincare, right? I hope you are appreciating the skincare analogy. When you exfoliate, then the hyaluronic acid that you're putting on your skin, for instance, right, then is going into the newer layers. It's actually then going down deeper into your skin because you've got rid of the the person, as in the dead skin cells, who are trying to steal the fucking show and are trying for dear life to hold on to every bit of moisture and every bit of everything that they can, all your ingredients, all of the beautiful serums and retinols and vitamin C's that you're putting onto your skin. It's like, oh, I'll take that. Oh, yes, honey. I love that. Give it to me. When actually it is the layers underneath that need that deserve it. It's their time to shine. And so we have to exfoliate that dead shit off. It's time to fucking exfoliate. And in this version of you that is ready to be expressed, ready to be seen, ready to be making moves, ready to be shining, ready to be activated, and ready to be seen in this world, needs to have the exfoliation happen. You have to let go of these old identities, of these old thought patterns, of these old opinions, of these old visions, in order for the new layers and the new skin cells and the new you to be seen. And how we are going to do that is we are going to take inspiration from each design type. Now, one of the things you will hear me constantly say when you work with me, whether that's through one of my self-paced programs or whether that's through my mastermind this year in 2025, it's called the CODEX Mastermind. We'll pop a link down below if you want to go and read about that. It is a 12-month mastermind, begins on the 1st of February, is a business expanding mastermind for spiritual entrepreneurs. Or whether you are a private client or whether you've bought a one-off training from me, you will continually hear me say, although I am a manifestor and you may not be, although I'm a Spinnacle authority and you may not be, although there are differences in our human design charts, nothing ever happens by accident. And I believe that while I am activating you, that is what my codex does, I also believe there is a piece of you that needs to be rubbed off. No, that sounds bad. Oh my God. I'm dying. Oh my God. I just laughed for about 2 minutes. That's how long that went for. Okay, back to, once again, we'll play a game of will my team leave this in the recording or not? Oh, you will have to let me know. Okay. So while I'm a manifestor, can I even say this with a straight face now? How am I going to say that? Okay, we can do it, Ingrid. We can do it. Whew. Just don't rub anyone off. No, stop it! While I am a manifestor and my codex activates you and your desires and your human design and your gates and your undefined centers and your profile, while it's activating you and your desires and your ability to precipitate, right? As a manifestor, I'm the bridge between the 5D and the 3D. And while I'm activating your gifts and you also being our bridge and precipitating the things that you have been working towards and creating and desire, I also believe that there is perfect alignment within you working with me. Just like, you know, when you meet those people and they are the complete opposite than who you think you are, or the expression of yourself that you're experiencing at the time. I had a girlfriend of mine when our children were really young, and she was so patient with her children, and it was something that I never identified with, was being a patient mum at all, which is very interesting because through this journey of being so close with her and seeing how she operates and seeing how she views life and how she handles stress and how she handles situations, how she handles her children losing the shit or having a tantrum or spilling over a drink or whatever it was really beautiful to see her alignment and see how she navigates these things. And it was a massive activator for me to, it rubbed off on me. Her patience rubbed off on me. And I remember her saying to me at one point, she's like, "Oh, you're so patient with your children." And I was like, "Excuse me?" I couldn't believe it. I was like, "You think I'm the patient one?" I feel like I'm just trying not to scream at my children. Like on the inside, I have a voice inside my head where I am screaming at my children. I'm trying not to let it out of my throat, you know, like I was just so surprised. I couldn't believe that she reflected that back to me. And it was the most beautiful thing ever. I trust and know that the situations that we are in and the characteristics or the skills or people's personalities or people's gifts, those people are in our lives because they are meant to activate something in us, and it's meant to rub off on us, right? Probably a better use of the word than prior. And so while from a human design mechanical standpoint, you are not meant to be an activator unless you are a manifestor, purely from a human design perspective, I also believe that the reason why you are working with me and the reason why you are, and this is what I'm always saying to my clients right inside containers, the reason why you are working with me is because you too are meant to be an activator, and you're meant to learn how to hold your energy and how to convey that in verbal form. Being a manifestor, that's how I'm activating, is through verbal. In verbal communication, you are learning how to do that for your clients. When it comes to human design, there are currently 5 different energy types: a manifestor, a projector, a reflector, a generator, and a manifesting generator. And each of them have a very specific gift that I see. There are many gifts are going to be powerful for all of us to take on and to be inspired by, and for it to rub off on us for 2025. And that is, number 1, prioritize efficiency. Our projector sisters and brothers and dear ones in our lives are reminding us and rub off on us how to be efficient. It is one of their top priorities, whether it's subconscious or conscious for them. And it is really their gift in this world. Their gift in this world is to take an 8-hour day and condense it down into 2 hours, because that is just similar to a 2-line. We just naturally pick up shit and, oh, I can paint clouds. Like, we can just do shit without even trying. That is their gift. Their gift for the world is to look at it and go, oh, that takes you 8 hours, honey? I don't think so. Watch me do it in 2, like prioritize and allow the code of efficiency to come into your life. How I personally do this is I do journaling, and I ask myself questions like, if there were no rules, how would I have this be? The stale bits that I have around how long this fucking takes, or how many team members I have, or the timeline for this goal, or how many moving pieces there are, or how difficult it's feeling. If there were no rules, how would I have it be? What would be removed? And bring in the magic and the mystery and the mysticism, and drop the fucking ajna, drop the fixed ideas about how long something takes, or how difficult something is, or how many moving parts there is, or how many steps there fucking are. Bring in the mysticism and the magic and the efficiency that the projectors are reminding us of through their alignment and through their lived experience on this plane. Number 2, allowing the mastery to unfold and to shift directions at rapid speed. Our generators in our lives and in this world are showing to us how mastery is created. And mastery, the way that I describe it for a generator, is created through the breadcrumbs. So it's something that starts off as a breadcrumb, like their passion and their desires, right? Something that their sacral is so fucking lit up about. It's a breadcrumb. And then it's like, ooh. And over time, then the next thing comes along and it's like, oh, that's a pebble. I'm going to go into the pebble. And then the next desire comes along and it's not just a pebble, it's a rock now. And they're like, oh, there's a rock. Let's go to that one. And then from there, it's a fucking boulder. And then from there, it's like huge and it gets bigger and bigger. And the thing they have to learn to do is to let go of the old identities, of the old pebbles, of the old breadcrumbs, of the old rocks, of the old boulders, in order for them to continue to evolve. A perfect example of this mastery and of the evolution over time is my BFF and my sister. She went overseas when she was young, at like 16 years old, went back to Wales, and she worked in a cafe and she absolutely loved it. And then she came home to New Zealand here and she did a barista course and like some entry-level chefing stuff. And then she went and actually did the full-scale chefing stuff. And then while she was studying and after she studied, she represented New Zealand in something really fancy called Bicus d'Or. I think I said that correctly. It's kind of like the food for Olympics. Yes, bitch. She's the tits. And then from there, she was obviously a chef, so she practiced that for a long time and worked her way up through the ranks. And then from there, she went into catering because they were better hours and more opportunities. And then from there, she did more management side of catering and like ordering and that kind of stuff. And then she started her own food blog. And then, and she specialized, her food blog is specialized in keto. Her website is theketochefskitchen.co.nz if you want a shameless fucking plug. I'll drop that in here below. And then she did a cookbook and published that, and that got like the best in the world, like a fucking award, like what in the shit. And then she did a second book, and now she's started with products, and she's got a keto drink called Modest in her company, and she's got 2 drinks, and it's just like, it's fucking amazing. And that is the journey that started out with cooking food for our family and a love of food and a passion for food in our household, and sharing memories and love through food and community through food and family gatherings. Like, it started out there, and to see her timeline and her evolution over time is fucking phenomenal. And it's so important for generators to let go of the old things. If you get stuck on the thing that you studied and invested all the money into study, and you don't allow yourself to evolve past that point, you're never going to proceed to the root. You are never going to proceed to the highest timeline that you have available to you. The route that your highest timeline, it's like proceed to the root. Does your GPS do that, or is that just in New Zealand when they don't update the fucking maps and the new road happened? Surely that happens in other countries too. Anywho, and it takes a lot of trust. It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of passion to allow ourselves, all of us now, not just for the generators, to allow ourselves to unfold through the journey of mastery. To let go of old ideas and just enjoy the fucking journey, the rolling down the hill, rolling down the stream, enjoying the train ride through the mountains, and then, you know, I don't know, where else do trains go? Not just mountains, through the cities? I don't fucking know. You know what I mean. Enjoy the scenic drive. And the journey unfolding is fucking phenomenal. Honestly, I can't say I have favorites, design types. I can't. But the transformation of a generator going through their mastery and me witnessing that and being on the leading edge of it, like the front row seat of it, it is one of the most beautiful fucking things in the whole entire world to witness. Like, it is so inspiring to me. And so I think that is a piece that you need to take on from the generator coding for this year. Number 3, nothing is actually impossible. It's just your body and your mind that's convinced yourself that it is. This is the Manifestor coding. This is the Manifestor initiation of the technology into reality, of the impossible into precipitated, from the 5D to the 3D, the bridge, right? And also the mysticism from challenging this 3D matrix and rewiring it and refiring it and completely changing the makeup of this tapestry, this woven tapestry that is this matrix that we are expressing through our inner journey, right? Because as above, so below, right? As within, so without. And so the activation from the manifestors is that nothing is impossible. If you can dream it, you can have it. If one person in the world has had it or has received it or has created it, that is the guidepost. If there is an exception to the rule, there is no fucking rule. And so for 2025, this is actually about you getting out of your fucking head and out of your own fucking limitations and dreaming so much fucking bigger, allowing it to 10-fold, 100-fold, 1,000,000-fold past the initial breadcrumb, past the initial spark, and be the person that will slam the stake in the ground and be like, this is fucking it. I am parting the fucking Red Sea. I am precipitating this. I am creating this because there has been one person that has, and even if there never has been a person, you are the person. It's that self-anointing, that self-ordainment that you are the chosen one because you chose yourself. Number 4, lived wisdom is better than thoughts or knowledge. My dear reflectors know all the fuck about waiting for the timing, waiting for the clarity, and waiting for the wisdom to land. In this world where it is so fucking go, 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 and so full of initiations and so full of like the next big thing, like you need to ground into what the fuck has life actually taught you over the past 5 years? What have you actually learnt about yourself or about the market or about content creation or about working with clients or about what you enjoy over the past 12 months? And actually fucking inform yourself of it. Actually value your own perspectives and your own wisdom and your own clarity that you have gained through life. And the way that shifts into wisdom, the flick that happens to shift it into wisdom is actually you shining the spotlight on it, is actually you seeing the lessons, is actually you seeing that you held it to fucking together through the trials and through the lessons and through the shitstorms, and allowing that lived wisdom to actually be exposed and actually be something that you bring out onto your aura. It's like when you bring out, what we do at Christmas, because we're British. I assume other cultures do this, but we bring out the fancy dinner plates and the fancy cutlery for Christmas dinner. We bring out the family heirloom serving dishes and like the special, pavlova cutters and cake cutters and all this kind of stuff, because we're deeply sentimental little bitches and we fucking love this stuff. But they're special occasion things and they come out for those occasions, and your wisdom needs to come out now. It needs to be used. It's not just to be shelved. It's not just to be filed away. It needs to come out now. It needs to be on your aura. It needs to be through your content. It needs to be through your offers. It needs to be through your context. It needs to be through your fucking voice. And the only way you do that is you. No one else can do that for you. And number fucking 5, honor that there are multiple truths, and honor that you do not need to be validated for every version of you. This is manifesting generated wisdom. They operate in so many different timelines simultaneously, and they hold and juggle all of the spinning plates, all of the fucking things they're juggling, the balls or whatever. Like, they are holding absolute mastery across multiple dimensions. And for them to be able to do that, they are honoring multiple truths. Now, the piece that I see that fucks up people when it comes to honoring truths is 2 parts. The first is that they are still needing external validation. So when somebody questions them or questions their perspective or questions what they did or why they did something, they will say, oh, but you said this in the past, or, oh, your piece of content has this, or, oh, this was that this time, or what about this then, and ask a question that is kind of to the contrary. Now, if that makes you fall off the apple cart, you are still needing external validation. Because what this shows me is that you cannot let multiple truths exist at the exact same time. And then this is the second part, which is around open-hearted leaders and how sensitive we can be, and how if somebody attacks us online for something that we share, and we're like, oh, but I actually share content that's of the contrary as well. I actually support that you being in your masculine as well. You don't just have to be in your feminine for fucking instance. And it's like, well, that person didn't go inform themselves of that work, of your work. Maybe they just came across you on a reel. Like, maybe they don't know your brand. Maybe they don't know everything about you. But it's like, can you hold that they don't understand you? Can you hold the multiple truths so significantly that you don't need somebody else's validation? Do you know what I mean? You don't need somebody else to get you to know that you get yourself. Just like at the very beginning of this podcast, I said that your problems are not unique. Well, that is a truth. And also, there are other truths where your problems are fucking unique, because the problems you're having is actually probably because of your undefined centers and your undefined gates and how that all plays in with your definition and your non-definition. Because what I find all the times is that We absorb information through our non-defined gates and our non-defined centers, and then that gets attached to the wheel that's spinning around consistently of a defined gate and a defined center, and it's like a piece of gum that's then stuck on the tire and going around and around and around, and so really it is kind of stuck. So your problem actually is unique. However, it's also fucking not. It's just that's the sort of thing I could have easily prefaced and done a preface before a preface and a preface within the preface and a preface within that preface and a preface within the preface and pressing, and then you never get to the fucking point because you didn't actually allow yourself to honor that one truth, that one fucking statement, that one pure frequency that you were meant to fucking share. And this is what the Mani-Gens do. They absolutely nail the multiple truths. And of all of the fucking bitches that I know who give no fucks about what someone thinks, it's the Mani-Gens. Why? Because they are so self-validated and they are so self-propelled and they are so fucking busy living out their mastery and living out their fucking epic, amazing, sparkly, incredible fucking lives that they don't need nobody to fucking understand them. You know? They don't need nobody to validate them. This is like the high expression of a Mani-Gen, right? So with all this being said, I want you to do a fucking deep exfoliation tonight, okay? Before you sit down and do your vision casting for 2025, before you set your next set of goals for the next quarter, or before you decide on your word for the year if you're choosing a word, or before you do your vision board, I want you to go through all of these 5 truths and journal about them. I want you to de-shell, to emit, to exfoliate, to remove all of the dead shit, and then anoint yourself with oils. Physically, by the way, actually anoint yourself with oils, and anoint yourself with your highest timeline vision. And that can be through a vision board, that can be through journaling, that can be through vision casting, through manifestation practices, whatever it's going to be. If you want a vision board workshop, by the way, I'm going to link mine down below. It's the fucking tits. It's $44 US, and you won't get a better one. It's a 2-part series. It's how to actually create a digital vision board, like the physicality of it. But there's also another module. So there's 2 modules. There's also another module that talks to you about how to create the vision that's actually going to precipitate and the things that are stopping people's manifestations actually precipitating. So there's the energetics of it as well. And then the reason why I also use digital vision boards and my story about how the first year I went from setting a vision board to achieving something that I never, ever thought I would, and the reasons why that happened through the vision board setting. Anywho, so we're going to drop that link below. I hope you have absolutely loved this podcast episode, and I can't wait to speak to you again in 2025. Once again, if you have loved this episode, I would love for you to take a screenshot and share it to your Instagram stories and tag us either at Your Galactic Guide for the podcast one or at Unhurried Sage for my company's account. Thank you for being here. This is Unhurried Sage, and you have listened to the Your Galactic Guide podcast.